When was the first time you saw Pr0n and how did you feel about it? I was around 7 or so and I was looking Pr0n for Sonic stuff and boom. I got sent to a pop-up for a Pr0n ad. I stayed there for a good half hour, just looking at boobs and watching my PP go hard. I was actually very surprised to see how a vagina actually looks like. I used to think it was like a funnel. You pee into it. I was at my friend's house and our third friend was there too. 3 boys in middle school, and they put on some lesbian Pr0n. Then they both hid, one behind a couch, the other behind another smaller couch, and they kept asking me to throw paper towels to them. I just sat on the couch, watched the Pr0n, being really confused why they kept putting oversized lipsticks on their vaginas. They were vibrators. All in all, I'd say I learned a lot. I started laugh crying thank you. I was 11 and I laughed cause it was midget Pr0n. I still remember. I was 12. It was a cassette tape. It was called Pink Cotton, and it made me feel tingly, not all over but just between my legs. My thoughts then. I was maybe 7 or 8, it was some of that old school softcore stuff on Cinemax. I was intrigued, definitely lol. I was around 6 years old. I don't exactly remember but I know it was some time before 1st grade, and I found some Pr0n pic tabs open on the computer after my dad finished using it. I felt really confused but also like I just discovered something like esoteric adult knowledge, if that makes sense. At the time I didn't really know it was supposed to be bad. This make my PP hard and I don't know why. I figured since my dad was searching this stuff up then it must be something he liked, so I went on the computer trying to search for more and find something he'd like and impress him, LMAO. So there I am searching for a while to find the best possible Pr0no. Then my dad comes over and gets really mad at me because apparently it's wrong but never explained why, so I was always really confused. That kinda made me even more curious, so I tried searching for more in secret hoping they wouldn't notice. I didn't even know the right words, so the best I could do was type in shit like boobs.com, then just click around on links and pictures. I didn't realize that search history was a thing, so I got caught again when they'd find that in the history lol later on, though I somehow figured out how to clear it. Then being the little I was, I thought I'd share this newfound knowledge with my peers, so at school I'd be telling people to go on boobs.com and that it had some great flash games, haha. I kept looking at Pr0n for a while mainly because of curiosity and it made feel good for reasons I could never understand the time. Then at 11 I discovered how to masturbate. It was with my first girlfriend. I didn't know a damn thing about sex, so she told me to watch some hentai to get the idea of it. I watched it and got really horny, so I jerked it. It felt amazing. Eventually and so much came out that it scared me and sprayed everywhere. It felt amazing, but the mess is annoying. About 2002/6-7 years old, I mistakenly entered a Pr0n site while attempting to type in the website on the back of a Kleenex box. Facial something. I knew what I was watching and just kept watching it out of curiosity. Our PC was in the living room and my mom walked out of the kitchen to see her homeschooled child watching a threesome. I was at college living off campus and my next door neighbor asked if I wanted to watch a movie, so I agreed. It was Pr0n. Not that I am adverse to it today, but then I hadn't seen it, much less with the neighbor. I only said hi in passing. I stayed about 30 minutes and then said I had to go. It was awkward. The first time you saw Pr0n was in college? Yes. I was 19. There were some things I was not aware of at that time. I know, call me silly or naive, but I didn't know. I DK probs when I was 13 and my reaction was, the duck is this? It's nothing like sex scenes in films. It's so retarded they look like slush bags pummeling themselves together. And I still think that. It's an act and it's really shitty acting most of the time. Soft stuff. I was 7 or 8. A penthouse. At a said bookstore in a cardboard box on the floor. I thought it was one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen. Hardcore. Probably 14 or 15 on the web. My reaction was the same as above. I was actually on adult chat site and I felt pretty badass. Literally the day we got an internet connection. I was 11 and the first thing I tried to do when we finally got internet was to try to download a game. I went to Google, wrote the name of the game, and clicked on the first link that appeared. It was Pr0n. This was 12 years ago. I closed the browser immediately, but still remember the photos till this day. One of those were of the guy coming on the girl's vagette. I thought it was some kind of web coming out of the girl mayo. I was a little kid who searched why girls because I was curious about seeing girls in bikinis. Needless to say, I found something completely different and it annoys me because I'll never find that first video again. Wanted to make an account on Poptropica. Popped Pr0n. The rest is history. 4 or 5 years old. Wanted to watch Spider-Man on VHS. Saw that a VHS tape was already in the player, so I assumed it was Spider-Man. I push play and it's a girl riding a dude. This can't be right. May if I change the channel enough times, once I go back to it it'll play my movie. Did this for a good 5 minutes, then called my dad asking him why it wasn't playing Spider-Man. My dad was so embarrassed. Little me had no idea. I felt horny and jerked off to it for days. I think I was 14 when I looked up naked girls and found a surprisingly ad-free website and clicked on the first video. My first thoughts were probably she's cute and oh so that's how it works. It was an amateur video if I recall correctly. The website is still updated so I use it occasionally. My buddy was butt naked in his living room beating off to Pr0n on the computer that was shared by the whole family. I was 8 and one of my friends showed me German dungeon Pr0n. I have been confused since. 14ish. No internet back then. Needed special paper with printed images. Mags or vids? Mags when I was 6. Penthouse. Vids I was about 8 or 9 and it was my dad's VHS collection. Didn't understand it then, so it was like watching anything else except I got a hard on LOL. I was 11, and unfortunately it was a pixelated hentai game with all the controls labeled in Japanese. So not only was I confused about what I was witnessing, I really did not know what the hell was going on. I clearly remember when the pixelated cone blasted white goo and I couldn't eat mayonnaise for a period of time after that. What's worse is that I didn't know the history button existed. It was kind of like something out of an old Sergio Leone movie. I think I was 5 or 6 years old. But basically at my school we had this day where we had to dress up like it was the early 1900s for some history day. And so everyone looked like they were in the movie Newsies with little rascals hats and vests etc. I was hanging around some guys I knew during lunchtime and I had to go the toilet. And one of the guys I knew approached me and said, "Here, take a look at this," and gave me a small picture of a naked woman who was posing. It was clearly printed at home from his dad's printer. At the time I didn't really know what to think. I was more scared about the teachers finding out and asking me to empty my pockets. I carried it around with me the whole day instead of just throwing it out. I was never caught and I guess I felt cool smuggling this picture around. My friend showed me when I was in grade 3, and I felt very uncomfortable and very guilty about it, all while having the biggest hard-on a 8-year-old could have. I stumbled upon some Pr0n my older brothers had downloaded and been careless about hiding on the family computer. I was turned on because it was hot, but also disgusted because I was taught that Pr0n and masturbation are wrong by the religion I was raised in. I must have been 10 or 11 when I came over to my uncle's house. He was burning some PS2 games for me and let me use the computer while he was doing something else upstairs. I must have accidentally clicked a random file and it was this chick just getting absolutely jackhammered against a bathroom wall. My first thought, Jesus Christ, what the hell did I just watch? I didn't think anything more beyond that, and didn't even explore the idea of Pr0n until my mid-20s. I looked up Pr0n on Google Images when I was younger, as it was my favorite Pokemon at the time. After scrolling for a while, I found a very risque picture of an Anthro Pr0n. I was horrified and closed it, but I was so curious that I went and searched for it again just to see what in the world the context was. Found a bunch of explicit Anthro comics on that site. I am a furry now. LOL. Also, it's still there. I wondered about it the other month and found it again with no issues. Lemuel was the first time I saw it, but if anyone here remembers that time span, it was some weird shit. Like, I'm pretty sure I saw a man put his head inside of some lady's vagina. Soon after I looked for some normal stuff. Lmao.